Siddhartha Gautama was born into the Shakya clan, a community that was on the periphery both geographically and culturally of the northeastern Indian subcontinent in the 5th century BCE. After he gave his first sermon on the Four Noble Truths, it is said that he turned the wheel of the Dharma. Buddha had the power to push the wheel of the Dharma, allowing for his teachings to spread from India through Asia. Other cultures began appropriating and accepting the Buddhist teachings while adding their own perspective to the religion, as seen in China through Sinicization. Buddhism is a path of practice and spiritual development leading to the ultimate insight into the true nature of reality. Traditional Buddhism is orientated around the notion that we are all a part of a constant cycle of rebirth or samsara, and to live at all is to suffer. According to Gautama Buddha's teachings, the origin of suffering is craving, and to be human is to have cravings and attachments to the samsaric world. To rid oneself of the desires of the material world is to rid oneself of humanity, and that is how parinirvana is achieved. Gautama also highlighted the notion of cultivating the ideals of the Eightfold Path. This is characterized by the pursuit of exemplar knowledge, intention, speech, behavior, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. The cultivation of these ideals often spans multiple lifetimes through the accumulation of karma, which is characterized by the actions in a life having effects on future lives. Traditional Buddhists wish to follow one path, a path which ultimately culminates in enlightenment or Buddhahood. In the 19th century, Chinese immigration, as well as immigrants from other countries where Buddhism is practiced, brought to the US a new form of religion. Because of Buddhism's odd status as a non-religious spiritual resource, Americans seem to feel relatively free to drop in on Buddhist events and participate in Buddhist practices. New converts to Buddhism, like new converts to any religion, have for the most part been young, single, and idealistic, and have often viewed those who are Buddhist by heritage as less religiously devoted than themselves. For the last 18 years, studies indicate that all denominations of the Buddhist religion have experienced an unparalleled growth in the United States. This study showed that from the years 1990 to 2001, Buddhism grew 170% and became the fourth most practiced religion in America. Current estimates of the number of Buddhists in the US range from 2.5 to 4 million. There are several theories for the spread of Buddhism in America. The first is that Buddhists are mindful and take care for all living creatures. So now, in an age of increased environmental consciousness, one could associate Buddhism with the religion that best fits the idea of land preservation. The second reason stems from the idea that the belief in an omnipotent, compassionate God has begun to erode. In the wake of such national traumas as September 11, it is possible that many Americans lost faith and looked for guidance elsewhere. The third, and probably the most important theory, is that of an increased educated population. Theistic religions have lost their hold on the minds of many educated Americans, and this has opened up a deep spiritual vacuum that needs to be filled. Buddhism doesn't ask for one to merely believe, but emphasizes that it is a path or journey on which one is free to doubt. It offers a practical way of finding out the truth through one's own experience, rather than through accepting the teachings of other people. It is very malleable and not as structured as other religions. Thus, it is easier for the modern American to embrace without a sense of urgency or pressure to get it right. Additionally, it is important to point out that Buddhism is the religion that best copes with modern scientific needs. Catering to the interests of American society, Buddhism may soon take the form of a meditation-based personal practice that is gender-inclusive and highly simplified. While some Americans might practice Buddhism seriously, others may feel free to select certain practices of the religion as hobbies and not fully partake in its spiritual teachings. Ideally, many Americans will grow in spirituality while learning the true Dharma. What then would Gautama Buddha himself say about Buddhism's spread to the West? Traditional Buddhists believe that Buddhism is for whoever wishes to practice. Many assume that the practice of appropriated Western Buddhism is an act of theft. Stealing, however, means we are taking something that isn't freely given, but Buddhism is a free religion. The major monotheistic religions of the Middle East, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all share on some level the idea that there is a single correct way to be a Jew, Christian, or Muslim. And both Christianity and Islam make the additional claim that all people should adhere to these teachings. But with Buddhism, this is not the case. On the contrary, a central theme in Buddhism from its earliest days is that different teachings and practices are appropriate for different people. The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path are truths available to anyone who can make use of them. No one can own truth. It belongs to us all.